Should I kiss you when you deal with that, or would that be distracting?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Is this okay if I...
Yeah, just, sure, yeah.
Okay. Was that distracting?
No, you're...
Okay.
I can feel your judgment. I can feel it.
I know Liam is sort of a jerk, but he's my jerk.
Oh my God.
Tuesdays and Thursdays after soccer practice.
He's a Cheryl, though.
Yeah, she's tiny, thin, and blonde, I get it.
Somebody sounds jealous.
But anyways, I'm getting off topic. So let me fill you in on the coup de grace.
Angie.
Yeah.
We got something to tell you.
Are you having sex?
No. And it would be none of your business if I was, but I'm not.
Well, I met someone.
What?
Hi there, you must be Angie.
And she's got a little daughter, about your age.
Angie, aren't you an artist?
Oh yeah, show them your Instagram. I just made the Instagram account just to follow her tweets.
Really?
There's just a lot of things out of my control these days.
You seem really driven with your art.
I don't know, I just think I should be maybe more driven with different things. You know, life is rough a lot of the time.
What is wrong with you, Angie?
Nothing is wrong with me!
You lied to me? I didn't even say anything.
And sometimes I really hate myself.
Is this because of your parents?
No! But, future Angie, I really hope, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, that there's still a part that believes that life can be full and beautiful and honest.
Gentlemen, boys, and girls, I'm so freaking excited to have with me Mei Makino, the writer and director of a fantastic film that I saw at South by Southwest last year called The Inbetween Girl. Mei, say hello, everybody. What's going on?
Hey, everybody. Happy to be here. I love the energy of that intro. That was awesome.
Well, thank you. And my energy is usually going to stay high when I'm talking about a film that I really enjoyed. And Inbetween Girl was a film that I really enjoyed. It's about this teenager, right, named Angie, who is played by Emma Galbraith. I think I said
Emma
that,
Galbraith.
right?
Yeah.
Galbraith. And she gets with this young strapping young man in her school, and we get to learn a lot about her and her existence. And I got to tell you, Emma is fantastic in this movie, and you really have, especially from the writing perspective, formulated what I think is, and I can't relate because I'm, an adult male, what I think is a definitive Gen Z teenage girl experience. Would you say that was something you set out to do, or did that just kind of happen by accident?
I think any Gen Z quality was probably in large part had to do with just casting Emma. Like you said, Emma's pretty amazing. She's an amazing performer. We did improv. I incorporated some improv into the script. And kind of after I cast her as Angie, Angie became a little bit more outspoken than I had initially written for the character. And so I never set out specifically like Gen Z. It was more just like a universal experience of this is an Asian American teenage girl, and I wanted to be really, really honest about it. But it's nice that you kind of shouted out that Gen Z quality. I think if it's there, it was really, really brought by Emma.
Let's talk about that too, because obviously I'm not an Asian American. I'm a Latino American man. There's definitely some hints that she's struggling with her Asianness as well. Was that something you wanted to directly address?
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, growing up, I'm actually half Japanese, half white. I can't speak Japanese. And I think, sometimes when you're biracial, it feels like everyone is expecting something from you, or sometimes it can feel like you're not completely whole because you don't really kind of fit in on either side. And I don't think that's just the Asian American experience. I think, everyone can feel in between different identities. I think that's totally universal. But yeah, I kind of wanted to kind of explore this confusion with identity, just because I had grown up with that. And then that ended up working really well for Angie's character.
I relate way too much to that because, like I said, growing up as a Latino American, I'm half, Central American and half white myself, and it never feels like you know enough Spanish to satisfy the brown side of your family, or too much Spanish to satisfy your Caucasian side. So I that part of the film, as you can see from my question, really attached itself to me, and I feel like South by Southwest and Tribeca too, because I saw films at both, but yours was I saw at South by, had that theme in spades. That theme of imposter syndrome amongst your family.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like I said, I think it's something everyone goes through, but I think when it's racial, it's sometimes a little bit harder because I think people can make snap judgments when they see you sometimes, and they don't fully always see you as a person. And you see that in the film kind of when Angie goes over to Cheryl's house and meets Cheryl's mom, and her mom is automatically, where are you from, kind of exoticizing her. And it doesn't really give Angie a space to show up just as who she is. And so, yeah, I think it can be kind of tough, but I think ultimately when you're biracial, and in Angie's case, and in my case, you kind of end up kind of belonging to yourself and forming your own identity. And I think Angie's kind of on her journey of discovering that and discovering who she wants to be in a really authentic way.
And I think that's the perfect word, is authenticity. I think that there's an authenticity to everything that you put together here, May, especially in your writing. Nothing feels forced. Even the literal designs, as far as the social media usage and the art that Angie makes in the film, it all feels very deliberate and authentic, like something that a teenage girl would definitely do in 2022 or 2021 when I saw the film. How did you get into that headspace? Because obviously you and myself, we're not 16 years old. How do you get in that headspace?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I know I'm not a 16-year-old girl, but I wrote the film in my mid-20s, like the first draft of it. And I've always kept a diary like my whole life. So kind of writing in that more personal way was something that kind of came naturally to me. And I also, like, obviously mid-20s, not a teenage girl by any means, but I still remembered how I kind of felt at that age, and like how big those emotions were. Like if I had a crush on a boy, how just overwhelming that felt. And so I did my best to kind of draw from, how big the world feels at that age and how overwhelming, and kind of just remembering that, like, everything that's happening to Angie feels like kind of insurmountable in a lot of ways, even though like we as adults see it now and we're like, it's going to be okay, you're fine, but it feels so real to her. I was also a teacher at the time of writing the first draft, and I worked with middle schoolers. And that was just a good reminder on how kind of hilarious and fun and awesome kids are. And I think like the fact that while I was writing, I was teaching kids really, really, really helped.
I think that definitely helped, because I think, like I said, that authenticity comes out, and I really want to say, when I got to write about this film last year, I really had nothing but positive things to say about it. So that says something, because I very much will not say positive things if I didn't enjoy something, and I really enjoyed your film. So I wanted to commend you for writing such a really thoughtful and authentic. Even the romance feels authentic and thoughtful. There's no jumping to conclusions. There's no missing of, a lot of times in these teen romances, you'll be missing that in between part, the awkwardness of like, why does this guy like me? Or the guy thinking, why does this girl even want to hang out with me? And we get that. We get Liam, played by William Magnuson, who I think was fantastic. Also, he's really insecure about himself. And I've been there.
And I think William does a really good job of that, very first scene where he's like, he's learning what he can get away with, and he's kind of seeing if he can push the envelope and trying to do what he thinks a teen boy is supposed to do, but he's very, very nervous and awkward about it. And in that first scene, and I think William did a really, really great job of it.
Yes, and a big stretch on that character name going from William to Liam.
I know. I wrote the character before I met William, and then I met William, and I was like, perfect. It all works out.
It works out. As a fellow William, I can say.
Yeah.
Liam is not usually the name we pick. So
okay.
We respect that. We respect that answer. Now I want to talk a little bit about you, Mei, because this is your directorial debut, and hell of a debut, first of all. Let me ask you, as a director, as a writer, as a creative, who are some people that you look to as inspirations, creative inspirations within, whether it's writing, directing, whatever?
Oh man. I mean, there are really so many inspirations. One person I thought of a lot while I was kind of in the pre-production process was Chantel Ackerman, who made Jean Dillman. And she was like mid-20s, like me, had an all-female crew, had never done it before, was working with like a very experienced actress, was like, you know, having issues with direction, but then she made this like masterpiece. And so like not specifically creatively, but like very much like emotionally and like a filmmaker sisterhood. I really, really looked up to her. And who else? I mean, I've always just like loved coming of age comedies. I'll say like Edge of 17 was an influence. Diary of a Teenage Girl was an influence. You know, I'm sure even like Clueless, like hearing Amy Heckerling and how she made that film was very inspiring to me as well. Yeah, I have a ton of influences. Yeah.
That's funny. I can see a little bit of Diary of a Teenage Girl in here in this. I mean, it's obviously it's a lot funnier than Diary of a Teenage Girl. This is a lot funnier, but
Diary, yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna say Diary was like a very transformative film for me. Like I remember like I was just out and about like living my life, and I was listening to NPR and they talked about this movie called Diary of a Teenage Girl. And then I went by myself to go see it, and it was like the first time I had seen a movie where a girl was talking so authentically about her feelings and what she was going through. And I like didn't realize you can do that. You could do that in a film. So yeah, Diary was a huge influence on Inbetween Girl.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Bel Powley is great in that film. I was one of the biggest advocates for that film. I think I put it in my top 10 for that year of when it came out, because I loved it in 2015 when it came out.
Yeah,
and,
very, very good.
Even the art style is very similar. The art style that Angie uses in the film as part of her art is very similar, and I enjoyed that. And I'm glad that you had such great influences, because they coalesced well. They coalesced really well.
Thank you so much.
I want to ask you, mate, because we talked about your inspirations and things like that. Let me ask you, this is the hardest question I ever get the pleasure to ask anybody. And let's just suppose you could only watch 2 movies for the rest of your life. What would you pick and why?
Okay. I really like The Social Network. And I know that's like a weird answer, but there's just something about that movie that like whenever I start it, like I have to keep watching. I just think it's just really well constructed. Like all of like the intro montage where they're like creating face mash, which I know is like so sexist, but like I'm able to like separate myself from it. It's just so like immersive. And like it's basic, but I really love Sorkin's writing in it. And probably the other film I really like is Kiki's Delivery Service, which is a Miyazaki film. Yeah, like Kiki's Delivery Service, I think just like as a how to deal with life type of thing. And also how to deal with life as a creative, I think there's like a beautiful moment kind of in the film where Kiki like loses her powers, and to me it's a metaphor for creativity when you like nothing's coming to the surface for you, you can't think of anything. but then she eventually kind of takes a break and the powers come back. And so that's always very like inspirational and like gets me in gear during my creative lows.
I love both those choices. I'm never going to argue with a Sorkin pick or Miyazaki because, you know, Miyazaki's a genius and Sorkin is one of the best screenwriters alive. So I love those answers, May. And so let me ask you, because I don't have much time left, but let me ask you, if somebody said to you, why do I need to check out Inbetween Girl? What would you say to them? Why should they check out your film?
Okay, quick pitch. It's under 90 minutes. It's funny. There are tremendous performances. The art is really good. And I think it says something unique about teen girlhood.
I like that answer, and I am going to give you a little bit of what I think is to why people should check out Inbetween Girl, because, and I'll start very simply with the dang movie's hilarious. It's funny. There's something to the film, and I'll use a little bit of what I said in my review, that it is a truly refreshing film in a sea of big time action films. We sometimes forget that little teen comedies have something to say, and I think that your film says something for this generation, and I think it will eventually say something for future ones as well. I think it's very similar to some of the inspirations you mentioned, and I think everybody should check it out. And they can do that today because it hits VOD today. Am I correct, May?
Yes, sir. It does.
Awesome. You guys definitely need to check out Inbetween Girl on VOD right now because it's 89 minutes of hilarious and real situations. I want to thank you, May, for joining me and giving me any part of your day. I really super appreciate it, and I really hope to see whatever you're going to do next because this was a treat. It really was.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. It's been my pleasure. And for Film Snob Reviews, this has been Mei Makino, and I've been William, and we're here to just say, check out the movie and have a great day.